Hello everyone and welcome to Campus Channel. I'm here with EMLyon Business School and we're going to be talking about their Master in Management. In order to do so, I have the pleasure to welcome two guests of honor. The first one, the Academic Director, Travesio Florencio, or Florencio Travesio. How are you, Florencio?
Thank you. Hi, Guillaume. How are you? I'm doing great here today. Thank you.
Well, thank you for asking. I'm doing well as well. And we're welcoming one of your first-year students. He's called Charbel Alachash. Hello, Charbel. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. Actually, I'm on vacation now. I'm in Lebanon. It's a bit critical, so my camera might be freezing because my internet connection is not stable. We're facing an economical crisis at the moment, but let's hope it will not freeze.
But that's also what EMLyon is about. It's about improvisation. EMLyon Business School. It's about like being everywhere in the world. But that's what we're going to see through the pitch. The pitch is a 60-second talk in which, Florencio, I believe you're going to have to tell us everything that we need to know about this program. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Well, then I'm listening to you.
Right. So the Master in Management of EMLyon Business School is one of its kind. This program is one of a kind because it combines a scientific and pedagogical project together with an academic excellence, the capacity to hybridize, to create hybridization methods, and also to train and form responsible and engaged managers. We believe in EMLyon that our idea of going further and finding obstacles and finding the solution to obstacles is one of the best characteristics. Not only that, but we are creating new courses that I'm sure that we're going to be discussing in a few seconds, and also a new path and new introductions and new features that we have included this year in the program. So I'm looking forward to discuss them with you, Guillaume.
Well, thank you, Florencio. We're like right within the minute, so perfect pitch. Thank you. 5 minutes, 5 questions. You mentioned the pitch that some things were new, and we're going to have time to talk about it. Tell us what it's new this year.
Well, this year we have introduced new courses that are going to complete the offer, and we have courses on human resources, courses on negotiation, a new course that is a complement to management strategy, which is called transformations. We have a new blend of a new DNA course that I can discuss later called the Prototype at the Maker's Lab, that is going to train you to create new features and new digital features like Internet of Things or artificial intelligence, or even robotical devices. So we are very excited to engage and to work with our new students in these new courses, of course.
Charbel, as a foreigner, what are the advantages of studying this course in France, of studying management in France?
There's a lot of advantages of taking those courses in France. One of the advantages is that I'm in class with many international students, so I'm discovering different culture, people from different backgrounds, not only geographical culture, but also educational culture or educational backgrounds. I do have people in my class who comes from engineering and have more of a scientific background or more of a rational mindset, but I have some people who come from arts background and have a more creative background. But the major addition is that I'm in France. I do have to discover the French culture. I'm learning a lot about the language, the food, the love of life of the French people. French people like to party a lot, and it's a very good thing that I'm enjoying a lot in my education right now.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the French way of life. I guess that's what you were mentioning, and how we party a lot. Florencio, is it like one of the main criteria? It's like you want to have people with like very different background?
Yeah, that's the best case scenario. We love to have, and what Charbel was saying is that the combination of backgrounds and cultures and helps to create a better conjunction of education and social interaction and future networking and bringing new ideas. Also, there's going to be a lot of French students as well that they will be able to interact with. So that's going to help a lot for new students to go further. But that's basically the greatest point that we have, basically the internationalization and the openness of Lyon and our campus and all the faculty. Imagine that more than 50% of the faculty is international.
All right, that's a pretty big statement. Florencio, you mentioned the DNA courses. You have fundamental courses, DNA courses, and specializations. What are the differences? Our
school basically has created the 4 DNA courses. Basically, one is based on social sciences research. The second one is created on a startup business project. The third one is the sustainable futures strategic program module, and the last one is what we call prototype, which is the course that creates digital solutions for our students. So basically, you have social sciences research, strategy, business creation, and digital competency. So those 4 elements are super important to build capacities in our students. Sorry, and I complete about the electives. And then basically, after having these core courses completed, you will have a moment in the second year, basically, to expand your interests and your horizons to do specific specializations that we probably will be discussing later.
All right. Well, you can go into details now if you want to.
Well, in the second year, actually, with the new program features that we are including from this year, basically the students will be able to go into an advanced track and then a professionalization track. This is going to help them to advance and to choose a particular domain of expertise and move on in their capacity to develop more tools. And the more you advance into the second semester, the closer you will be to your professionalization goals and competencies, which will help you to obtain an excellent job as we have, because our employability rates are very high.
Charbel, is there anything you didn't like about this program?
Anything I didn't like? No, not really. There's one thing I was surprised about this program is that I was expecting the course to be really technical in a way. And I was surprised of how many courses, as my director was saying, there were so many courses about sustainability, fighting inequality or integrity of the company as overall, which I find really an addition for myself as a future manager or as a future employer. And it's something that surprised. I wasn't expecting this many courses relating to sustainability, and it's important nowadays, especially with the climate change and everything happening around the globe.
All right, so you can be working in management and being like sustainably responsible.
Exactly.
That would be the first cliché that we just debunk right now. And for the others, let's move on to the clichés. Clichés are about preconceptions that you might have had before applying, once you've applied, about EMLyon Business School, about a Master in Management, about, I don't know, the city of Lyon. You tell me, Florencio, what would be the first cliché that comes to your mind?
But one cliché that I was thinking was that EMLyon or our academic design is not modern enough. And Charbel was almost hinting this point. And I wanted to say that our pedagogical design has grown so much that, and it's so dynamic that we have created courses on Python language, on it, as Charbel was talking about, inequality between men and women, or inequalities at work. We have courses that have been created post-COVID with an idea of analyzing the future of work, post-COVID generations. And I think that we have created a pedagogical design that is super modern, and it allows us to be flexible and creating new techniques. We have it's a project that is called the Bike Tour, which happens in early June, where a group of students, like 20 students, they go on a bike ride for almost 300 or 400 kilometers, and they visit companies along the way. So that's really modern, with professors, and they basically create this trip together with stops in companies, which are regional startups, and that creates an amazing thing. And this is pedagogically very rich for students.
All right, so it's an old school, but it's not old school. Is that what it is? Yeah,
it's a modern school. It's an old school that is this year we're celebrating our 150 years. So it's an old school with its eyes in the future.
All right, thank you for making that clear for me. Charbel, what would be your cliche?
One of my cliche is that people, I've heard a lot that people in business school do nothing but party. It is not 100% real. It is some kind of real. We do party a lot, especially for international students, but we do work a lot as well. So we do have some major courses where we go for school and do the traditional kind of courses, but we do have additional things to do. Like, for instance, there's the Makers Project. I guess Florencio will talk about it later in details. But this Makers Project is a project where you really work hard and you achieve things.
That's a great point that he's referring to about the Makers Project, because it allows students to in a small group to develop these special ideas, and in certain cases the students end up having work opportunities basically with these partners. So that was a great opportunity. I was just jumping into the end of your statement, Charbel, talking about how sometimes when you finish your project, your Makers Project, you may basically have a good relationship with the company and maybe get an internship there.
Yeah, I do agree.
And Charbel, you were mentioning, so eyes on the futures, but not only on your future drink, I guess. And you mentioned that it was also about socializing, partying. So what do you do? What do you do outside of class?
There's always something to do outside of class. We have between 30 and
there's a lot of associations, I must say. I can complete Charbel's statement. There's over 40 associations, between 30 and 40 associations that allows different students, international and French, to basically get in touch. And every association is doing many activities.
Okay, Charbel, I think we got a bit interrupted. So you were mentioning that the number of associations. Florencio was complaining what you were saying. Maybe you can keep going now.
Sorry, I was saying those student clubs are always organizing events. It can be culinary event where we discover French food, but also international food. They can be more artistic events, dance, music, or they can be parties as well. You were talking about parties. One thing that I really like about EMLyon was that we have a rooftop, which is a bar. We can watch the sunset, network with colleagues from the same master or different masters, which also adds the things that
I can complete. In that case, again, we use the rooftop to meet our students, to meet colleagues, and everybody uses the rooftop, and it's a great way to socialize. And in this type of time of year, it's excellent.
Florencio, what should my level of French be for my life out of school?
Being an international student, your French level should be a basic one, just to get along, to move around the city and to be able to have normal and basic conversations. But you can also have French classes in a program, so you will be able to complete those elements in the program if you need.
Also, I was wondering, Florencio, is Lyon international enough if I have international ambitions?
Well, yes, Lyon is excellently placed for has a very important startup environment. Number one, it has a very strong healthcare industry that is developing, everywhere here. We have like the major healthcare companies, and also near us in Switzerland, and is constantly rolling, and it's a very international city, and has been featured this week in the top 20 of the cities, greatest city in the world by Time Out magazine. So we can say that it's a very international city to be in.
Could you describe the student life at EMLyon in 3 words?
Very rich, because there's always something happening. There's always things to learn. I don't know the adjective, but it's thoughtful. You learn a lot of stuff, course related or life related. For instance, for me, it was French language. I've learned a lot of French word because of life on campus. And the third word would be just amazing. I'm really having the time of my life now.
Amazing sounds like a good word to like narrows it down, like everything. Florencio, the last questions for those 5 questions. What is the criteria I would need to meet in order to graduate with a double degree? Because you have a lot of partnerships, and how can I actually like be part of EMLyon and be part of another degree as well?
In certain cases, I mean, you can enter from the beginning for a double degree, but normally what you can do is doing your master 2 year in a partner university. We have partners in different cities in the world, but I would say I don't have the list in my head right now, but there's partners in the UK, there's partners in Europe, plenty in Europe, in Taiwan, in China. So basically, one of the important things is that those the main criteria for accessing a double degree is going to be to have good grades, because the higher you're in the ranking, the easier it will be for you to choose a good destination.
All right, a good picture speaks more than 1,000 words, and that's why we've created Who Am I? Who am I? I'm going to introduce you to 3 people that you should know, I believe, but I will introduce you to them, and then you will have to tell me which one, according to you, is more likely to share, I don't know, EMLyon Business School's value, or the Master in Management's value, or maybe the same spirit. I don't know. You will tell me. The first one is going to be Antoine Arnaud. Antoine Arnaud, why? Because we mentioned like partnerships, and one of the partnerships that you have is with HEC Montréal. And he was part of this, I mean, he graduated from HEC Montréal. So it was just to show that the kind of partnership you can have and the quality of the partnership that you have. The second one, the one in the middle, Britney Spears. Britney Spears is because you want to create an environment fit for digital and knowledge disruptions. I mean, she is quite digital at the moment and quite disruptive at the same time. And also, like you mentioned that the school was 105 years, if I'm right?
150.
115, sorry. So, I mean, she's not as old as that. However, she is unconditional, the same way EMLyon is, I guess. And the last one is Kylian Mbappé, because I know that innovation is something that really is important for EMLyon Business School, and he's always very innovative on the field. So, Charbel, I will let you choose. Which one, according to you, is the one who stands the most for EMLyon Business School?
This is a tough question. I guess I'm gonna go with Britney Spears because, as you said, she's getting old and the school is old as well. Plus the digital transformation, everything happening at the moment. So we do take some courses related to these issues, notably designing with web. So it's some kind of coding course, which is required at the moment. Everyone should know how to code because coding is becoming some kind of literacy at the moment. And the third reason is because Britney Spears has been struggling with some conformity problem and some really conservative problems. And the school is really liberal in this issue. We are a very inclusive university where everyone is welcomed despite his religious background, his sexual orientation, or despite anything. Everyone is just welcome on campus.
Thank you, Charbel. Thank you for picking Britney Spears as well. Florencio, which one, I mean, out of the 2 that remains, which one are you going to pick?
Well, I would choose Kylian Mbappé for the admiration that I have of him as a sportsman, but also as an engaged individual. So if I would say, why is Kylian Mbappé important for us as a symbol of EMLyon? It's because he represents the hybridization of métier, you know, of talent, and at the same time a social engagement. So I would say those 2 elements. Is a highly talented person from what he's doing, and is a highly engaged person on the other side.
All right. Well, thanks to the 2 of you for like playing the game in some way. Florencio, what makes this program different from another program with the same name? Because there is a lot of Master in Management on the place. Why the one from EMLyon Business School?
Well, the main thing is something that we discussed earlier, is that there is this accent on the social environment and the creating conscious managers ready for the future challenges. We are training managers that are going to be probably CEOs of big groups probably in the next 10 years, more or less. So it's important for us to give them the tools to be prepared for making the world a better place. And second is that when we were celebrating the 150 years a few weeks ago, when Isabelle Huot, our president and director, she was making this speech on the conscience that we should have. The students were very engaged, and every time she would put the stress on climate change and integrity for our socially engaged profiles. The students were clapping their hands, and we were confirming our interest in that people and students that coming here to the school, they want to be engaged. They don't want you just to study business, and they want to be prepared for businesses that are going to be sustainable in the future. So I don't say that other schools do it, but I would say in our curriculum, all the courses have included topics related to sustainability. We include a system that is called sustainable goals that are included in every course of the school.
Charbel, the hardest questions of all for you. Why is Florencio a good program director, a good academic director?
I don't think it's really easy to manage this kind of program. I mean, we are on 3 or 4 years on this program, more than 2,000 students in this program. So can you imagine the management of this kind of this huge number of people? In addition, choosing the courses, handling the timeline of the courses, and everything related to it. So I guess I'm sure that Florencio is doing a good work filling this boots or filling this position. And this is a big proof of how successful the program it is. Like, there's so many KPIs that prove how successful the program it is. One thing that my director has already talked about is the employability rate, which is more than 97%.
Okay, so you mentioned the employment rate. Maybe you can walk us through the career services of EMLyon.
So one thing also to add about the successful of Mrs. Florencio, or the successful of the school overall, is how many services or how many program we have in the school that helps the student to organize his career. So we have the PGE Conseil, which is the program responsible of how to organize your program, because we do have courses, we do have internships, we do have many things to accomplish, and there's a group of persons dedicated to help you out to organize your stuff. And there's the career center, or the job teaser center, which is a whole member of people, around more than 10 people working, just being here to help you put in place your career objective or your professional goal, and help you to get there, either by recommending the good offer to you, or by helping you shape your CV or cover letter, or to prepare for an interview.
Florencio, what sort of things do graduates go on to do afterwards? Once you've graduated, what are you going to do? Are you just going to be what? In finance, in marketing? Can you do anything you want?
You can do anything you want, certainly. Most of our graduates, we said there's a mix, but most of our graduates go either to finance, to being consultants, and another group goes to marketing. So there's a big basically connection, and there's a whole very important group that creates their own businesses. But the main groups are basically going to consulting firms, to finance, mostly of them. And I just wanted to not only thank Charbel for his concepts, but also to say that the teams are the career teams are constantly creating meetings with students to help them basically verify this. We have vocation days that basically where companies are coming to the campus to share their interests, and we also do meetings with companies ourselves every year to update our programs and to better calibrate the professional offer for our students.
There's
Okay,
something I'd like to add,
yes.
if you allow me. Yeah. So Mrs. Travieso was talking about startups. There's lots of students who open their startup, and on this point, the school is really pushing us for entrepreneurial, either through courses, through Makers Project, but also we do have an incubator on place, and we do have the Makers Factory to help find the good track, or to help people to make ideas brighter in the world.
Well, Charbel, that was exactly my next questions, but so you're going to have a bonus questions because of that. How does EMLyon build early makers? How do you make early makers out of your students, Florencio?
We have a system, but it's not a system, but it's a way a pedagogical methodology where students are normally taking outside of their comfort zone. That's the basic idea. We try to put them into different situations, try to force them to forget what they know, their preconceptions, and to develop new ideas. And we tell them that making a mistake, in training is not so serious or important, as long as you're ready to start over and create new alternatives. And the other thing that I have to say is that, and I'm insisting this a lot this next year, is that we want. I'm a professor by myself. I'm a professor of law now in this position, but I want students to become more acquainted with their professors. That will help them to become more open-minded professionals in the future.
All right, well, it's time for our final break. Let's move on to extra time. Extra time, you're going to have 2 minutes to tell us maybe something that we haven't mentioned yet, or on the contrary, something that we have mentioned and you really want to emphasize on it. Charbel, I will let you start.
So I really want to emphasize on the life on campus, because one thing that is special to EMLyon. It's not really special to EMLyon campus, to EMLyon student, but I have either acquaintances or friends going through the same program in different schools, and we do talk sometimes. And I do feel that I have a privilege of being an EMLyon student, because of the life on campus is really easy. I mean, everything is here. We do have a bar, we do have a coffee machine, we do have a cafeteria, plus the events always happening on campus that makes you go and network and meet people, either just people who are gonna become friends or maybe future business partner, or more on a professional way, like the job career fair that Mrs. Florencio was talking about earlier. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the mentality of the early makers. I do feel that I'm really an early maker. I'm always pushed to achieve more in life, to be really a maker, to be an entrepreneur, to be a person with the mindset that really wanna do some different things in the world, either on the sustainability way or really on the human or social way.
Well, thank you, Charbel. Thank you for sharing that with us. Florencio, what would be your last words on Campus Channel?
Well, listen, one thing that I want to say is that this program is run by 2 people. I'm the academic director, of course, but Sylvie Jean is the director of the program as well. So she's running the general view of the program, and I am basically going over the specifics on the academics. That's one thing that I wanted to mention, because we together we do a great working couple, and we're very happy of this agreement or arrangement. So the other thing that I wanted to say is that we think that our new specialization process in the school is going to make students very interested in crafting their new future disciplines. You can do a specialization track on finance or entrepreneurship or marketing, or beginning your specific supply chain specialization to later on in Master 2 in the second year, complemented with, for instance, a data analyst advanced track, and later artificial intelligence or corporate finance, and then investment banking, basically. Or you can do elective courses in your second year that is going to include a lot of, is going to widen your visions. The last thing is that we have the possibility to give you a pathway into our Master of Sciences in EMLyon Business School, such as strategy consulting, and also sports industry management, data science, international marketing, business development, and cybersecurity, and health management and data intelligence. So there's a whole possibility to broaden your perspectives and basically have a second year on a different program. So there's many options that we can build together for making your future, a very professional future.
Making your future a better future in some way. Thank you, Florencio, for answering all my questions. Thank you, Charbel, as well. If you want to become an early maker, if you want to join a school where you have a cafeteria, a cafe, you have a rooftop, you have a sunset, you have sustainability, you have inclusivity, and you have everything you want if you need it. It's at EMLyon Business School with their Master in Management. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon at Campus Channel.